There are some absolute legendary weapons available in Oblivion, and today I'm going to take you through how to get free of the early game ones. Some weapons you really do want to leave until you've leveled up a little bit, as they will be pretty weak otherwise. But the next three I'm about to show you I think are good enough in the early stages, and you're not going to lose too much if you do go and get them almost straight away. I'll have much more advanced guides for the more powerful swords, so don't panic, and whether you're new or just need a refresh, hopefully this video helps you. Let's go. Once you've left the sewers and you've pretty much got 10 gold, head to the Imperial City waterfront. There you'll find a very famous boat, the Bloated Float, which is actually a tavern where you can stay for the night and then have yourself a little adventure. Once you're directed to your room after paying your 10 gold, you'll then wake up to finding these guys, a bunch of bandits that have hijacked the boat and taken hostages. I'm playing on the Adept level and they weren't too bad, and I am using one of the swords that I'll find later, but this is probably the first quest that you want to do. Be careful when opening doors and straight away attacking though. Not everyone is going to be a bandit. In fact, you get a chance to talk to pretty much every one of the enemies first. Doing so gives you information that when you come to the final one, you can actually get the sword without killing her. Extremely simple and easy quest. You'll find 4 of the bandits, 1 outside, and the final one is actually going to have the sword that we're looking for. Each one should also drop a key so you can get into the next zone or area and yeah, take them down. You can see your own endurance running down pretty much, so be careful you don't get knocked out by the sword that you're actually after. But as long as you've got a good shield, you should hopefully be able to do this quest pretty easily. And just make sure you pick up the sword. It is the Blackwater blade. And yeah, if you talk to Celine and answer the questions the right way, after gaining relevant information from killing all her henchmen, then yeah, you can get the blade without killing her, but it's pretty much at this point just easy enough to go and do her in. Once you've slept again another night, the boat will return to dock, you'll get some extra gold, and you'll be on your way. And as I said, the sword drains stamina, has a chance of knocking enemies out, and pretty much stopping them from doing attacks while you wail on them. And of course meaning that your stamina will continuously replenish, or at least go a lot slower so you can get more hits in. And do know, even when it's lost all of its enchantment charges, it can still be used to take on any kind of spectral enemies. And it is a level blade, so the longer you leave it, the better it will be. At levels 1 to 4, you'll pretty much only absorb fatigue of 20 points for like 1 second. And if you were to go and get it at 25 plus, you'll take 20 points for 12 seconds. But regardless, it only has 50 uses no matter what level you get it at. And given that it drains stamina, I would say it's still probably not maybe something that you necessarily need to save, as there's definitely going to be other better blades. It's certainly great for taking on more chunky enemies and reducing their own endurance. Next, we're picking up Chillrend, a frost damaged sword that you can find in Coral, just obviously northwest from the Waynham Priory, really big part of the early story. Head over to the tavern on the right hand side of the square leading up to the castle, and inside you'll find a man lamenting his farm being overrun by weird creatures and his sons potentially being in danger as they try and clear out whatever's going on. Valis will have a very nice reward for you if you manage to keep both of his sons alive, and that's a crucial point. You'll find both of them just outside the monastery. Talk to the black-haired one and he'll ask you pretty much to come and help him. You'll then follow them to their farmstead and help them defeat a bunch of goblins. Now with the remastered option, there is a little nasty bug sometimes where you get double the amount of goblins spawn. It's actually happened to me twice now on Xbox and PC, and it's crucial that you keep both sons alive, so make sure you save just before the actual battle begins. There really shouldn't be as many as you're seeing on screen right now. They're relatively easy to take down, although you will get a skirmisher goblin which will be a bit tougher, and even potentially a druid or a mage one. But absolutely, this was way too many goblins and it was an overspawn, so I did have to reload because yeah, one of the sons died. In fact, both sons can die. If that happens, you'll only get 150 gold as your reward and no sword. So make sure you reload if that happens, and hopefully you'll be able to defend and kill them all. I'd say go ahead and meet them as much as possible. Don't wait for them to come to you, and you can take out a good few before they even reach the sons. And thankfully this time I didn't get an overspawn, and they were relatively easy to take care of. Go back to talk to Valis and he'll pretty much give you Chillrend. The other option is you can actually just go ahead and kill him and take the sword if you're going for a dark playthrough or don't mind going to prison for a bit if you get caught. I absolutely love this sword. You could argue you should pick it up a bit later because I do believe it can level with you, but it does do a good amount of frost damage points, so it's relatively good for early game still. But there's definitely still better swords you're going to find that are definitely worth waiting till you've leveled up, including another sword that will give you frost damage as well. But yeah, 1 to 4 it's going to do 5 points of frost damage, also a weakness to frost by 10% for 20 seconds. And if you do get late game instead at 25 plus, you're looking at 20 points per hit and weakness to frost by 35% for 20 seconds. It's got a charge of 640 at its base level and it's like 4000 plus by the time you get at max level. So it's up to you, but yeah, I still think there's definitely better blades to use later. Next we're heading over to Anvil and we're going on another boat. Obviously in the dock area, go up to the first boat that you come across and there'll be someone who tells you that her crew have basically turned into wraiths, having been murdered after going and picking up some magical, I guess, crystal ball that belonged to her grandmother or some shizzle. Now early game, this can be challenging, especially if you don't have any kind of magic on you. They won't actually die to any normal weapons. And Chillrend won't do you any good here as they're also resistant to frost. So your best bet is to use fire spells. You normally get the flare spell, I do believe, by default when you start the game. It can be a bit of a long process taking them out. You have to really make sure you've got plenty of magical potions. There's about 4, maybe 5 of these guys across the decks of the ship as you explore. Otherwise, if you've picked up a silver sword, definitely keep it on you, even if it isn't necessarily the best in damage, as this will actually hurt them. And if all else fails and you've maybe got some good melee damage, actually unarmed combat is a great way to kill them too. But you may need to replenish your healing a lot more. If you're still having trouble because you're relatively still early game or you've got a tougher difficulty, you can actually lure them out to the deck and other NPCs may come into your defence. Also found this strange note which I can't find any reference to on the old version of Oblivion, talking about potentially a secret passcode of knocking to get into a house. So that's something I'm going to look into in the future. And if you want the full story of how these guys or who murdered them, then you may want to check out the Dark Brotherhood quest lines. Also, last note, it's a great opportunity to level up your shielding as they're relatively easy to block, and you can certainly then go ahead and keep using that flare magic even at a low level. On the bottom floor, I do believe it is, if you turn around, actually as soon as you enter into it, you'll see the chest at the end, and this will have the crystal ball that you needed. So you could potentially even just run in here, grab the ball and escape up to the deck, and hopefully they won't all chase you. Or if you've got the chameleon spell, you can even sneak. Give the ball back to its owner and she'll give you a nice new blade. This is the Redwave, which will suck the life out of any enemies and give it to you directly. And while you can get better variants that will do more damage as it progresses in your levels, you don't necessarily get any extra buffs. I do believe it's a flat 15 points for 6 seconds of draining health, hence why it's a good early sword to go and get. And there we go, that's it. 3 swords that you probably come across maybe 1 or 2 of them, but hopefully now you've got a nice choice if you're going for a spell sword or any other kind of playthrough utilising these. This one particularly I don't think actual levels up even if you come back later, since it's quite powerful with draining enemies' blood.